Good morning, guys. How's everyone doing today? Mari, John, Joe. Looks like we're going to have an interesting day. We are bidding 28.19, 28, basically 28.20. We held value area low all night. Should be a good day. That's all I'm going to say. Should be a very good day. So let us, very interesting. Already met my goal in one of the accounts. So let's kind of get started with a trade plan for the day. Let's see this real quick. John, I'll have to give you a call later on. I had some ideas about some of the work you've done. And I'd like to welcome everyone to the market preview. So first, before we get started, just really quick, past performance not indicative of future results. There's substantial risk in trading derivatives. You can lose all your money that you've invested. Please make sure you have a risk trade plan. Don't blow yourself out of the water. There's no glory, trust me, there's no glory in blowing up, drawing down big, and then trying to recover. Okay, just none. I've done it. I've been there. It sucks. It's humiliating. It's stressful, and it's not necessary. If there's a market you're having a hard time trading, do what I do. Slow the heck down. I don't like to recover from holes that I build in my own trading account. Okay, so let's see. I think I said past performance not indicative of future results. Let's jump in and look at the profile and what the market's throwing at us this morning. So where am I going to start this process? And by the way, right here in pre-market, I want to see something really quick. This 28.20 to 28.21 is my first. I have a resistance level right here, so I'm going to go over that in ES. Let me cover that, and then I'll show NQ. So the first thing on NQ, I'm keeping my eye out on it, NQ, right? I want to know one thing about NQ today. Is it trading below 72.26? Is it trading below 71.87? Is it trading below 71.64? Those are the three most important numbers on NQ today, because particularly if we're underneath 71.64, but holding underneath 72.26 opens us up for a swan dive down to 71.20. Okay, so I want to say that again. 72.26, I'm concerned about trading below and holding below that level for both ES and NQ, about as straightforward as I can be. It would be no bueno. They tried to shift value up yesterday. We're currently trading on that at uncertain where we're trading on that, but I'll tell you. Let's see, Apple's at 198, and I haven't touched NQ in a while, but let's see. Hope I have my domes running correctly here. 72, 67, 75. Okay, so the first challenge for bulls is going to be to hold the volume point of control. I'm not so concerned about that. Value area low, holding underneath for over an hour has me concerned. Back above, game back on for the bulls, but holding below, that's the big deal. Okay, so up above, there's plenty to re-auction on the upside. You'll notice the one key on NQ is there's no naked volume point of control, and it'll make it relatively easy to push all the way through this area. Hold on one second. I need to send a message to somebody. It's odd that he's not in the room. Oops. Wow, sorry, I'm having an issue here for a second. And that's weird. Okay. Trading above here. This right here, that middle, that hole in that profile right there. Okay. That's probably, just like on ES, that's probably your inflection point if you're trading NQ, 73.35 to 73.43. And then this, so somewhere between here and here, that completes the auction up, 7,400 to 7,414. I'd love to look for shorts both in this area and in this area on NQ. We'll see if that actually if that actually sets up. And then the last piece you just kind of want to look at on NQ, even in bear markets, 50-60s are pretty common. And by the way, this still isn't a bear market. It still has plenty of support underneath. But your 50-60 lands right in the middle of these two places. So my guess is either they just front run it, or what would be perfect here, see how they can run it right behind the 62 retrace, squeeze all the final shorts out, and then roll it back to the downside. So anyways, that's my 2 cents about ES and excuse me, about NQ. My main concern is since I'm not trading it much at all, actually, is just to see it hold above 71.87. We'll give bulls a chance on ES to push up below 71.87 and 72.26. There's issues, and I'm going to be more interested in potentially pushing my shorts. So I'll be watching that very, 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 very closely. Okay, let's see what is next on the agenda, which is to cover ES here really quickly. So on ES, here I'm going to start this all over and do this once again. So last night, for those who, Joe was with us, for those who weren't, we pounded the daylights out of 78.14 all night long. That's value area low, is 78.1450. There's a little anomaly right there at 13.25. And I believe Globex low came in at, actually it was a bit lower because they overshot. So we overshot on the quote tariff news. But if you look over here, okay, so see how this came in right here? This is how this should have behaved, assuming that we could have even made it this far down without the news. But see how they held right into that 13.50, 14.50, and then they got one little last group to panic out and push it down into that 7.811. But you can see all night long, you could have worked it out of that 13.14 all night long. So what does that tell me really, really quickly, right? If I get underneath 13.50, 14.50, they might hold 11, but I really would rather see trades above 14.50 for longs up than I would want to catch anything below 13.50, right? So even though, yes, there's support at 11, you're going to run smack into a lot of people who accumulated in this 13.50 to 14.50 from underneath, right? So pushing up in here underneath, I would expect something that ends up looking like this, right? At least the first time. If they come down here, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Drawing, annotate. There we go. If they came, so let's say we roll down from 20, we come down here, however we end up doing it. If once you come underneath here, this all is going to find responsive sellers because this group of people put in a pretty good chunk of change in Europe and Asia trying to hold that level, right? Like if you watched in Asia, it was really well tested. During Asia, it was really well tested around 5 a.m. in Europe. Those guys are going to turn seller. Everyone who bought down here is pretty happy right now. But if you get underneath them, there's going to be some seller. So you either want to look for okay, so at any rate, that's my 2 cents. This needs to hold today. I'll be a little bit more cautious underneath 28.13. Of course, I'm going to let the algo trigger me in below these key levels, but I would expect if we get back down here that they hold 14.50, 13. If we slice through this like butter, right? If they just kill this location, I'm waiting for counter rotations back up to short against it, right? I am not going to be looking to go, oh, wow, we just sliced through 14.13. Let me get in. I'd rather see, okay, so the idea is I'd rather see them come down like this, come back up, and then backside test for the push, just like this, right? I'd rather catch this and this than this right here because I know I have support here. I don't know that I have jack in here. I'm actually underneath support, and the risk is that we pull off one of these where we come in, backside test, and then we flush like that, and I don't want to get caught on that particular trade. So that's my 2 cents there. The other thing that's important to note coming into the day, right? There are some constructive things. First of all, we're above, let me erase this. Really? Give me a second. I just lost my. It'll take me just 1 second. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's very cool. Okay, hold on 1 second, guys. I'll have a new meeting lined up. This is so I can steal the image from my other computer. 8, 9. There we go. And there's my face, for better or for worse. Okay, so continuing with the thought process here, let me go back to a couple of things that are actually constructive for the morning that I'm going to be using and watching so that I can gauge the strength. That's what I want to do is like, what are we trying to do? I had this conversation this morning, right? You're trying to play aces. Like, why was I trading out of this location last night? So let's just make it really basic. Why, when we were in here, why was I loading up in this 1475, 1450? Because I know I'm backside testing the valley. I've got value area low. I've got VWAP up ahead from my target. I've got untested 2021 where there's a hole in the profile right here where we're rejecting out of right now. There's a hole in the profile right over there. I've got things that need to be repaired upstairs. And I know that if they were going to blast this level, they would have not been able to recover back above it over here. And it's Asia, right? But what you're looking for when you're trading, or at least what I'm looking for when I'm trading, is where do I hold the high cards? Where do I hold the high ground? Where's the trade easier for me? So let me explain a little bit of that. See this here yesterday where yes, I missed the short yesterday afternoon. There's no question. There's no question about that. But see, when you're, forget the TPO and all that other stuff, right? When you're back over here, so Delta was just flying over here. Let me erase this. I'm still not very good with this platform, although I love it. There we go. When you're back over here, right? So everyone who was in the room yesterday, everyone knows we came and we completed the auction up here. We knew that we were in a, hold on a second, that's too early. Up. Okay, two things. Remember here when it was looking weak, right? And I was like, look, it's bizarre. We're putting in lower highs and lower lows, but Delta was flying through here. It was just launching. We were at already over 20,000 on the Delta, right? When I see Delta above 20,000, I get cautious. So the Delta I'm referring to is on this chart right here. Okay, and you can see at that time, the Delta was sitting already at, we crossed above 20,000 Delta right here. And I made the comment, I said, it's weird. We're below this key level here, but Delta's flying. I'm really hesitant to short when Delta's above 20,000. So I couldn't put all the pieces together to figure it out to get the run to the upside. But when you look up here and you see this Delta up at 40 or 50,000, okay, see this over here? Yes, it did roll over, and it rolled over actually pretty nicely. If you shorted 28.24, which was our key level from yesterday, right, you made it eventually all the way back to 28.14. The PA's been a little bit weird. If you go look at the last 10 examples of Delta being pegged at 40 or 50,000, and the last time you got a 10-point roll-off from the high without being the case, you're going to have a very difficult time getting this rollover. But more importantly, look at people who got confident on the short, and then look at the face ripper they got right at the end of the day, right from Apple. And I had almost given up on them. Again, they came into the day's value area low, that 1350, 1450, and I should have been more aware at that area. I did not have that up on my radar screen. So again, I've been off a little bit the last couple of days. Obviously, yesterday there was no losses because I didn't take any trades till Asia, so that was pretty easy not to get murdered, right? Okay, importantly through here, what was working? Let's go back to here. The point of that is you're looking for where your aces are, right? So remember yesterday when we got this 4,000 Delta, I pointed it out right here. And I'm just going to use lines. This one here to here. That's a 4,000 delta. Look at this first backside test into this 4,000 delta. That is 28.20 and a quarter right there. First time test. Your stop could have been exactly 1 point below or less. Really could have been 1 tick below in this particular case. From that 28.20, it rolled you back up to 28.22.50. Why do I bring that back up? And possibly a shot of continuation to the upside, because we eventually did push to 28.28, which is what I thought would happen, right? So my first point behind this, we're looking, if you'll notice in the trades where I'm really pushing my trades, I am looking for where it's easiest to get my biggest size on, and that I have assurances, not assurances, but okay, so the best way I have to give this example for men, right? If a man's walking down the street with his wife, and I walk down the street and I just plow into his wife and knock her over, right? If you were to guess that, no matter what the man's age is and what shape he was in, most men would respond pretty violently and angrily to that event, right? It's pretty simple. I shoved someone, I shoved his wife, she fell down, he's going to get up and he's going to defend her, just like anyone would. I would do the same thing, right? That's what you're trying to figure out when you're trading, right? What is the situation where the majority of people are going to respond? Well, it's pretty straightforward. They're going to respond at big deltas, okay? They're going to respond at holes in the profile, anomalies. They're going to respond there, right? On big stretches down 20, 25 points, you don't want to be short in the hole. It works sometimes where we get down 40, 50 points, but the majority of the time, if you're shorting and we're already grinding it down there, you may not have a great long, right? But your odds of your short working are very, very poor. Just like when ES is up 20 or 25 points, it just runs out of energy, right? You need to pull back to gather the energy. Now that can take place in two ways, right? There's a point to this. I promise you. If you're up here and you're up 25, what the people who are buying up here is they're dreaming of this, hey, it's going to go straight up. But usually what happens is one of two things. It comes up and then it just balances sideways all afternoon, kind of like this, right? And then what I'm looking for is where's the key deltas below that I can trade off of, right? Or what's going to happen is yesterday where it comes up, exhausts into a key level, we collect a bunch of traders, and then they do a failed range extension higher, and they smoke everyone to the downside. Plus 25, these are your two best options. If you take 100 examples, one of these two are going to play out probably 90% of the time. The one where it just keeps going like this is about 3-4% of the time. So I guess these are even higher than that, right? And this is the most likely scenario, by the way, or a small pullback and just bounces in a little wider area. This is the least likely, and this is actually more likely than this, but this is the most common result of a trend day up when you're plus 25. When you're down 25, right? Down 25, the process looks something like this. Usually it doesn't, we want it to do this, and sometimes it does, but usually it does this and just shakes the daylights out of everyone, and people start getting confident on the short. Weak traders start fantasizing about the few times where it goes and does this at the end of the day, and they start shorting here. That's a 1 in 10. The majority of the time it balances, collects the guys, and then pushes back either to the lower third, or we out and out reverse and just push all the way back up. Okay, you have to know those as basic responses in the market before you can take all the other information that the market's kicking out to you and make good decisions. That's why I know last night when I'm taking a trade at 28.14, 28.15, Asia's a low energy environment, right? They are going to hold that the first couple of times, and even if it breaks down, usually it'll backside test it again to give you an exit, although I don't stick around for that. But either way, I just know most of the times I can just mark a line like this, and we're going to stop and get a counter rotation there because it's just what Asia does. First time into VWAP, we're going to reject off that VWAP. If it makes an impulse move lower and comes back to VWAP, first time in, it's good for 1 to 2 points in Asia. So the big deltas, right? Biggest delta on top, backside tested, rejected. Biggest delta on bottom. Ron, by the way, caught that short. Biggest delta on bottom, I think he did, right? Gives you 2-3 points to the upside, right? When you look at delta down here and you're saying, hey, the market looks weak, make sure delta confirms that the market's looking weak, right? You don't want to be shorting. Where is the clear button? There we go. you don't want to be shorting, even though it looks weak, through here. Where am I? Hold on a second. Yesterday. You don't want to be shorting through here. Oh, let's get over to it. Where are we? Thing one. Here we go. When Delta gets above 20K, right, through here, you don't want to be shorting this. You want to be looking for long opportunities. And then notice the consolidation again, above 16. If they were going to reject it, they should have rejected it right here. As soon as we consolidated through here and built energy, and then you can actually see them. They can't push down. Look how weak the deltas get. And then bam, everyone's caught short. That 4,000 delta is the breakout delta. And when it gets retested, there's going to be responsive buyers there. So what we're hunting for today, right, when we go look at the profile, we're currently trading 28.21. What I'm trying to figure out is, A, do we open drive higher or open drive lower? I have Fed at 1 o'clock, which, by the way, I am not trading. I'll be off this afternoon, not even considering it. I'll be gone by lunchtime. I don't care what the market does. I'm not having a bad day on Fed day. That's all there is to it. Everyone comes out and plays, and that makes my odds lower. Okay. Number 3, do I have a delta I can key off of? Do I have a big delta at the bottom showing exhaustion, and can I get above them, right? Or do I have a big delta on top, right? So 2 things had to happen if you look at this from yesterday, right? While we're trading, without knowing jack about what the profile looks like, right? You could simply have been here and said, look, in order to be short, I've got to get under this guy. It's just freaking math. It's pure and simple. Look, when we get under them, there's the backside. See all the backside tests? We can't. I could put my stop 1 tick above there, right? We can't get that's a 1.5 range bar. I have less than 2 points of risk on that. Once we got underneath this guy, that's where the rollover was capable. If you look on the backside test first time in here, repeated 1 to 2 point trades until when? Until they finally closed underneath. These are easy areas to key off of, right? They don't work every time, but they work enough of the time where you can make a living off of it. Okay. And when you're trying to figure out, so yesterday, Ron contacted me right up here and he says, hey, that is a short right up there. It was right into a key anomaly. He's very good at what he did. I didn't take the short. He did. I actually took the long. He sold into this. I went long into this. Break right here. Very, very small, but long in there for that run. I didn't have any trades down here that I should have captured. And I didn't want to short against this, right? And once we got underneath, the delta was so strong, I don't like shorting in the last hour, and that was what the proposition was. And then if you watch this morning, if we put a line through that area, right? Okay, now watch the PA overnight. Rejection. So look, as we came up, pushed above, news comes out, pushed into that VWAP and into that big delta, rejection down, back into value area low, hold, back up into that 1875.19, right? See how we rejected out of it again, right? And now we've just pushed above. So guess what I'm keying off of today? I want to be, if I'm below VWAP and I'm below that 1875, my guess is we're going to come and test 1450, 13.25, where I expect from that, if we don't slice this like butter, to come back up here, and then we're going to resolve from these 2 points. We either consolidate above and push higher, or we're going to consolidate underneath here and break down and retest that 28, probably 07, which we were shorting in Asia on Wednesday night, right? If you look at this, that's where that whole consolidation came in here. It's right here. So we go back and look, it should be right there. My memory is usually pretty good on this. There you go, 1 test. Okay. And that's where the backside where I was shorting that all in Asia, all the way through here. We finally broke above, backside tested it, right? Pushed out of it, couldn't make it back. So there's the next test right there at 926, right? And my guess is if we break the 14, the next test is 0807, and below 0807, support looks pretty weak. Above, I'm just watching for trend up. There's plenty of room to go to the upside, right? 28.28 was approximately the high from last night. My guess is right when we push up into this area from 24 to 28, that is where your resistance is above, assuming we hold the 1875. That's the day. So my hope is to grab 1 or 2 points this morning. if I get more, that's great. I will be pulling the trigger, and then I'm out of here by 11. My only warning on Fed is this, guys. Fed normally looks tradable until it's not. And when it's not tradable, it will annihilate you. So be aware, if you haven't traded Fed before, up and down 10 points and underneath a minute is not uncommon, right? It hasn't been common, but it's not uncommon either, especially for guys who've been around for a while. It's a great place to get your head chopped off. Most people see the wide moves as an opportunity for huge P&L. I prefer the small moves that I can get a high percentage on than the big wild moves where I have a hard time managing my my size that I want to get on, combined with the volatility that's present. So, anyways, that's my 2 and 3 cents for the day. I'm laying back. I'm looking for. So let me repeat: looking for key locations, deltas, V's in the intraday setup, and where my big deltas are lining up, backside tests above and below, right? And patience, right? I don't need a million trades. I just need 1 or 2 really good setups to get paid. And if the PA goes, right, if we open up and all of a sudden we're doing this one tick deal where it goes 28.20 and a quarter, 28.50, 28.75, like by the minute, and I can count the contracts that are going off, I'm probably just going away, right? That's PA that I don't trade well. It annoys me. I can't get a read because I can't see what people are doing when it doesn't move quickly. I can't see what people are doing, right? Anyways, that's it. I hope everyone has a great day. Mind your P&L, mind your capital. Don't boom bust, right? Not every month is a great month. Not every day is a great trading day. It's Fed. People are going to be on hold in front of it. And I'd keep a small eye at least on Apple, because Apple's going to rule the roost. It's heavily weighted both in the S&P and particularly in the NASDAQ. I think that's a 5% weighting. Maybe I'm incorrect on that, but I think that's right. And get paid, guys. This business is about getting paid. Not everyone is Ron. Ron's an exceptional trader, right? Not everyone is Peter. Peter's an exceptional trader, right? These guys have put in a lot of work and a lot of time. Not everyone's Ralph, right? But those guys all follow a process, which is why I picked them out. They all follow a process and they take their same setups over and over. Ralph in particular does a great job on the day trading side. Ron in particular does a great job. Peter does a great job on the swing side, right? But they all follow a process and they look to refine that process over and over. Same with me, right? They don't always get paid, but they get paid a lot and they get paid often, right? So I will be in for Asia tonight. I plan to collect my 2 or 3 points just like I have almost every single night. So I'll probably show up around 7:30. And I'll let everyone else have the clown hour with the Fed. They can have that. So that's it. You can see we're right into, right, without doing anything special, we're right into this big delta again, right? So we're either going to get underneath VWAP. So what I'm looking for out of the gate, and I'm not trading the first half hour, are we above or below VWAP? Are we above or below this key delta? Below here, I'm looking for support. First time into 14.50, 13 and a quarter for somewhere between 1.5 and 2 points. Retest the VWAP and a backside test of possibly this area. And they're going to have to resolve this because you can see we've been ping-ponging all night. And you can see it's pretty easy to see where all the energy is built, right? You can just look really all the way across here. We've just been building energy, building energy, building energy. My concern is we're unable to make the extension back to retest the highs out of the gate. We break the 13 and a quarter, we end up with a long liquidation situation. That may be put on hold till after the Fed, but I bet underneath 13 and a quarter, that 07, 08 is a pretty clear shot, I would think. So that's my 2 cents. I hope everyone has a great day. If you'd like to visit us in the room, send me an email, tradertough@gmail.com. I'll send you a 5-day pass. I don't have anything else to add. So do well, guys. Thank y'all for joining us on YouTube. If you liked the broadcast, if you'd please hit the like button. It makes a huge difference with the customer service on YouTube. So anyways, that's all I got. Have a great day.